Greetings. Your commander here with a prophetic challenge to the judiciary. I challenge the judiciary on this one point, that they have usurped their authority over us. They have lost their authority over us because they have acted criminally and unjustly. What's the case? Too many. Prejudice is presumed where there's a conflict of interest. And the law states that. The case law states that. It says that you don't even have to have a hearing on the matter because it's so evident that you can't serve two masters. So wherever there's a conflict of interest, prejudice is presumed. So now let's take a look. Clayton County Courthouse. Literally, it is said this land that the courthouse stands on is owned by judges, a family of judges. And this family of judges is so historically unique that one of the judges in this family who ran for office and won said that he would give 1,000,000 years in sentencing and then celebrated when he had accomplished sentencing these people to 1,000,000 years. Family of judges. Now, again, the family of judges owns the property that the courthouse sits on. And when the Klan rallied, they rallied here. So how can you have justice? Now, even the structure, the procedure of justice is flawed. For example, they said that you have a right to be tried by a jury of your peers. So let's, for example, look at me. I've been found to be prophetic, so a prophet. I've been found to be a warrior, so says sports. Got kicked out of sports. They said, I said, why? They said, you don't just hit them, you hit through them, you're breaking them. And that, so it was said that I'm not right for football. He said, well, you're a warrior. So I didn't know that. Okay, well, you're a warrior. Then I went into the armed forces, saying certainly I'd be well received in the armed forces, but found out that the armed forces is really not for warriors, it's for technicians. And I was told that by high-ranking people who told me, hey, this place isn't for you. Even though they were looking for me, someone who wouldn't take shit. And so I'm a warrior. I'm also press, okay? I'm press. Been press for over 30 years. So I'm press. I'm also a black man. An indigenous black man. Okay. Now, the question is, when have I ever been judged by my peers? I've never had a jury of prophets. I've never had a jury of pressmen and women. I've never had a jury of black men who stand for justice. They're my peers. Never had my peers. And then anyone who has knowledge of real law are dismissed during the jury process. Then the next procedural process is that, everybody in the courtroom, everybody that handles your matter in the courtroom has a lawyer for free, except you. That's kind of interesting. And then when they claim that they're appointing a lawyer, the judge is the one who signs the paycheck. So if the attorney says anything that would expose the judicial impropriety, then they're not going to get paid, and they know that. And they've even told me when I've brought some issues to them that would guarantee many people being set free. They were saying, yeah, that's true, and it would probably work. But Anthony, I would never be able to practice law in that county again. So prejudice is presumed where there's a conflict of interest. There's clearly a conflict of interest. Like, for example, if your tactic, any defensive tactic, must include to cause serious doubt in the minds of the jurors, you know. And so I was once attacked and tried by some folks that wanted to malign a good man. Government wanted to malign a good man. And so I represented myself. And so the first thing the prosecutor said was, Mr. Hudson, you're going to hear the sounds of a madman, a lunatic, crazy man, you know. And then the prosecutor sat down. And then I said, you know, you've all seen the movies of law. They say there's two sides. There's really three, but there's two sides, you know. And then they say that, you know, this is about the truth, and the jurors must seek out the truth. And if there's anything that would cause a reasonable doubt, the jurors must acquit. If it don't fit, you got to acquit. And so then I got up and said, well, everyone has to stand up and swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God, so that you, the jurors, can make a proper decision. And I said, but there's two elements, there's two people here that never has to take an oath to tell you the truth. That's the prosecutor and that's the judge. So whenever you hear the judge, for example, say to disregard something that you see as relevant, he's or she is derailing true justice, because true justice requires you to know the truth so that you can make a good decision. So the process right there is awry. But if we back it up, the process of jury selection is awry. If you're not my peer, you're clearly not my peer. Clearly, you're not. So how can I be judged if you don't assemble my peers? And then another process problem. You know, most of your true rights are from your Constitution. As a matter of fact, most of the times that you're judged and sentenced, you're sentenced under what they call a law, which is actually a tradition practiced over many years, and it's called a statute. But they call a statute a law. They call a tradition a law. Well, that's dangerous for blacks here, because this is the South, where lynching a black man for 100 years is no problem, where they permanently tried to force you to stay into the minority by hook, crook, legislation, crooked judges trying to give you 1,000,000 years. See? And when they did that, they showed that they had a conflict of interest. And what was necessary for you to call it for what it is, call it for what it is, fraud upon the court. It's not, what it is usurpation of the powers of the court. Now, what is usurpation? Usurpation is when you lose your power and authority because of your crooked deeds and acts. So the court usurped this power. It fucked this up. It fucked its own self by screwing you over and lost its power. But the reason why it continues to be allowed to bring you before it is because you have not declared that they have usurped their power, and they've clearly usurped their power. Oh, this is about, oh my God, 9 minutes. I'm going to wrap this up. Part 1, a prophetic challenge that they have weaponized the judiciary and that there's no way you can get justice. Therefore, you need to call fraud what it is, show them and allow them and tell them you have I have declared that you have usurped your authority. Therefore, I'm sequestering my powers, which means I'm pulling back all my representative powers that I first loaned to all of you to handle justice. I see you can't handle justice. Prejudice is presumed. You've shown prejudice. So therefore, I'm pulling back my powers. I am nullifying your authority over us. And then we're doing justice, self-policing ourselves. Now, I got to talk to you about, please stay tuned, share this, and then hit me with part two. Ready for part two?